What's up, guys? This is what if Z Broly and Z Peragus went to Earth with Goku, or what if Broly and Peragus went to Earth with Goku? Now, this would be a kind of odd event. One, because this version of Broly hates Goku, and this version of Peragus doesn't give a fuck about him. But in this version, that version of Broly grabbed onto a crying baby Goku. At least his pod. Which I'm going to say he just did a little bit of a dent in it and grabbed his own father, and they tore off to Earth. They landed on Mount Paozu with an injured Peragus that was on the brink of death, a baby Broly that was laid out cold, and a baby Goku in the pod. But since the pod was opened, they were all laid out clean. Now, Gohan sees that they're mainly just injured, not on the brink of death yet, so he brings back Peragus. Peragus didn't know the name of... Actually, he did. He knew Kakarot's name. But whenever Broly heard Kakarot, they became more like brothers, though they were like twins in age, more than anything. It was kind of weird, but it was pretty cool in general, too. Now, because Gohan, in this version, Grandpa Gohan can sense power level, I don't know if he could in canon or not, he knew how strong baby Broly was. The amount of power he had was almost unprecedented. This was so much strength that it was like hundreds of him. But he helped Peragus raise Broly, and he helped take care of Goku. Now, Broly and Goku would grow up together. Now, Peragus knew his proper name, but felt it didn't need to be said, because it was kind of dangerous, and it was more of a trigger card. Though Broly actually loved Goku, but hearing the name Kakarot is what reveals his anger. So all you need is the word Kakarot, or anything that sounds like it, and it'll reveal the full rage of Broly. All he knew was the name. That was what angered him, not the face. Because they grew up together. It was like they didn't know who Broly. They did know that there was the roar of Kakarot when Grandpa Gohan died. A 6-year-old Goku being the one to do it. Peragus never really said this, but he was brutally honest with his children. They are what that is. And it took a few years for him to say that. Broly was pissed off. He went into a golden rage and almost killed Peragus. Goku, unleashing his power of Ozaru, being the one to put down Broly, as if he was kind of crying for his older brother to help him. Broly calmed down and said, sorry, Goku. I need to think. Peragus was laid on the ground and said, good, son, get some thoughts. Uncle Peragus, are you okay? I'll be fine. As he healed up again, in this version, Broly getting actually a little bit calmer. And when Peragus heard about the Dragon Balls, they can wish anyone back to life. He was thinking, I don't want to revive the Saiyans. I don't like them. They kicked me off. They tried killing me. Although I would like to revive Bardock. Then he said, maybe I could help. Broly and Goku here are quite strong. Maybe they could help you. Sure, let's see. They walk all the way around with Peragus there too. Though Peragus requests his own place to stay, or he'll just rough it outside in his own little tent, since he's done that plenty of times off planet. He was thinking about conquering Earth, but this is when he thought. The brother of Goku, Raditz, he's on the same squad with Vegeta. So eventually they'll come here lurking for more Saiyans, and when they do, he's able to get his revenge. And Broly doesn't hate Goku, but he does not like the name Kakarot. So they always have to call him Goku around Broly. Kakarot's more of a rare thing to hear. Thing is, there are 2 Brolys in this world, so you have to get used to that one. And Broly is the name of... Actually, I'm going to say this one only goes by the name Z. And this version of Peragus is called Paru, which is, he's the older brother. And Z Broly is, like, younger, but at the same time, he's kind of he's way bigger. So anyway, Yeah, in this version, they're doing good. Now, the events as they go pretty much where they just run their shit. And Goku and Broly spar all the time, so their power is nowhere near canon. Like, Goku can easily one-shot anyone who isn't a Dragon Ball threat. Like a Dragon Ball Z threat. So, other than, like, they need to be at least someone with a 20,000 power level to threaten Goku, since Broly and him fight every day, and they've, over the years, trained and got that much power. They match at 20,000. And they stay at that. Though Broly has had some times of showing Legendary Super Saiyan, Goku has shown something different. It's not Legendary Super Saiyan like Rage, but it's could be considered Super Saiyan, I guess, but not quite, as they, over the years, they do get stronger. Their power levels winding up being about 500,000, and that's literally at the end of Dragon Ball. Not right when Z begins. Now, Goku still got with Chi-Chi, that was the whole thing. Broly was more intrigued by Launch, but he didn't decide to go after that. He didn't think it was a good idea, and wound up getting with a girl named Snow. Or whatever the fuck her name was. I forgot. I don't fucking remember. It was a little girl with red hair. And she wound up liking Broly. And they wound up actually kind of working out together pretty well. And when they got back to Earth, and she actually wound up joining Broly and leaving her village. And this was from Muscle Tower. Redhead girl, Goku went there originally. In this version, Broly and Goku go. Now, I'm still gonna call him Broly, but his name is Z in their world, so yeah. So if I say Z, it just means Broly, and if I say Z peragus, it's, well, Poly or whatever. I don't fucking know. Just call him Z peragus. It's what I'm gonna do. Whatever. Broly is surprised at what he finds. Goku and him are actually quite identical in strength. And the end of the Tenkaichi Budokai isn't between Piccolo Jr. and Goku. That fight was like the second to last round. In the end, it was Goku versus Broly. Now, Goku looked eye to eye with his, well, brother. And looked him up and down and said, "You sure you want to do this, bud? Let's go." They fly at each other in force like awakening. Goku rages out in power, and you see golden spikes of hair as he punches Broly in the mouth. Broly let his own berserk out a little bit, and they went bulking and hitting. In the end, Goku's faster, and Broly's not quite as strong. And Goku knocked him out the ring. Barely, though. Like, it was a fist fight, though. They were going pretty solid until Goku used his agility to knock Broly down. Broly stood back up, and hand-to-hand with Goku, stood up and said, "Thanks. That was a fun one." Spitting out a little bit of blood, saying, "When we do have our true battle, we'll need a planet for it. We just might need one, bud." Well, let's get back to our training. You got your wife, I got mine. Now, they decided to name this... Broly would actually wind up having a son the same time Gohan was born. So, he would name the boy... Chill. No, I'm not sure what he was fucking named the boy. He wasn't sure what to do, but he decided to name the boy Peruvius. Nah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna use a different name. He decided to name the boy Zeus, since there seemed to be some kind of correlation with being strong, and the boy was almost his size. And he loved to fight. He was more talkative though, but because Gohan had more of a friend, he liked to spar with him. Both being born with regular power levels though, of around 200. And in this version, they train every day. Broly and Goku straight up swing at each other all the time. Their greeting is running up to the other one and hitting him in the face. And when Broly does it, he's in his big boy form, which he only taps into when he's mad. But he's pretty often easily mad. Now, in this version, the word Kakarot is what actually... Hearing that Kakarot's in danger is what sends him into a rage, not hearing the name. If he sees Goku hurt, he becomes the attacker of anyone. To protect him, he would gladly fight Frieza and win. Now, they're doing their thing, but this is when they get to see something kind of terrifying. Broly is surprisingly outpowered. But not by anyone normal, by Goku, in an odd turn of events. And like I said, that's how they greet each other. That's hitting them as hard as they fucking can. Now, thing is, they had to lower their power level to walk around daily. So, yeah, they're not always walking around 500,000 around like it's a joke. No, because they could kill people like that. Granted, when they're not holding back to do their actual thing, their daily life, they are powerful as fuck. But when they're doing their daily life, they don't want to destroy the planet by touching it. So, yeah. This is when we get to see something pretty odd. The boys go there. Thing is, they ride on the Nimbus. Peragus taught Broly and Goku how to fucking fly. They always are doing this. Now, the boys are riding on the Nimbus. Thing is, they like violence. Now, Peragus shows up too, and he looks eye to eye with Raditz. And he actually gave him a fucking thing, saying, "I'll make you a deal, Raditz. You are the weakest one here, out of all the Saiyans. Even my power level is 8,250. Do you think you're strong enough to threaten me?" No? Good. I'll make you a deal. Join us. Join the Saiyans to beat Frieza. He destroyed our world. And I ask this of you. Help me get revenge on Vegeta. Vegeta really calling this out, saying, "Really, Peragus?" Raditz saying, he's talking over the earpiece. Okay. As Peragus got it put to his ear, saying, "Yes, Vegeta. Yes. Revenge on you. Revenge on me, but my father's the one who did it. He's a fucking idiot. Look, if you want it that bad, when you die yourself, you can go hit him. But not his son. It's not my sins. It's his." And as this when you hear Goku surprisingly be the one to state to calm down Peragus. Peragus, calm down a little bit. You know what the truth is. You don't need to do this. Now, thing is, well, Peragus still wears this golden... Well, Broly still wears these golden things. They are more of a receptor, and he actually is fine with having them around. Because if he's not going berserk... If he's going berserk, no one can stop him physically. Even Goku can't, and he knows that. Granted, the two of them going full force at each other is rare, but it's happening a few times. Now, thing is, at this point, Goku's training up a little bit. And when they get there, their power levels are bare minimum 1,000,000 each. And that's just before the Saiyan Saga. Raditz decides he joins them. And hearing that when these two walk in the... Whenever Vegeta gets there, Broly beats the fuck out of him. And first thing Vegeta did was put in Ozaru. Nappa straight up gets straight up treated like a fucking toy. And straight up gets his ass whooped by kids. And it's in Ozaru form that these kids are ripping him apart. Piccolo walks in, drop kicks one of them. His power level only being 140,000. He's still trying to train up to become on Goku's level. But they have a respect for him, so they don't mind that he's around. Now, this is when, surprisingly enough, Goku utterly decimates this fight. As he picked up this worthless little child. As he picked up Vegeta's annoying ass, he's throwing him around like a child. That's when Vegeta is saying, "I'm at least killing one of you." Tries killing all the humans, and he actually does get to kill Tien, Raditz, Tien, and Nappa. Not Tien and Nappa. He actually does kill Tien, Yamcha, and Piccolo. Piccolo was the main one to die, then those two kind of backfire. He was going to kill Krillin, but right before he could, Goku kicked him straight in the fucking skull and yelled, "Broly, let's get his ass!" Vegeta getting his ass destroyed, like he's literally getting his ass jumped. When Goku says, "Calm down, Broly." And Peragus actually having to use the collar not to kill Vegeta. And this is when, surprisingly enough, Goku says, "Let him leave. He's beyond beaten." This is when they figure out Piccolo had to be from somewhere. So they find out that it's Namek. They decide, fuck it, let's go. They go to Namek. And honestly, it was funny as fuck. Going to Namek was the ideal place to get your ass whooped. Thing is, both of them there could walk in the fight like it wasn't even a fucking threat. Now, by not even a threat, I do mean not even a single one can get hurt. Now, by no means are they indestructible, but they're just tough as fuck. Now, when they feel Frieza's power, they look at him. And Frieza actually has a scouter, a few of them, that would actually be able to withstand his own power. They're on the ship, though. Normally calculating the strength of the entire planet at once. But instead, they're calculating the strength of... They usually add up an entire planet's, like, power level, which is high as fuck all the time. But it also says how many people make that power level up. And divides it up to where it shows what the average power level is, and what the strongest person on the planet's power level is. It shows that. But this version, he really just saw 2 power levels, both being 1,000,000. Scanning only those 2 individually. Seeing their power levels were that high. Thought the ship must be fucked up. Grabs a regular scouter that can actually withstand his own power level into a few of its higher forms. What's it show? Yep. They're over 1,000,000. Frieza, going into his second form to challenge them, thought, I can take them. They're just monkeys. Revealing that he's getting his ass whooped pretty easily. Then powers up into his second form. Going into his third. That one's more powerful. And it's absolutely wrecking their shit. Until Piccolo comes into Nail. Just joins fusing with Nail. Then they walk in. Beat the ever-loving piss out of the mere human. Out of the mere Frieza boy. And this is when Frieza went to his full power form. It was beating the shit out of everybody. Goku, though, saw something unexpected. Krillin just got blown up when they thought they just defeated Frieza. Goku just healed up after getting hurt pretty bad. He's back on his feet and he's pissed. He's ready to kill Frieza enough. And Broly, who's become such good friends with Krillin, he's ready to kill him. To kill Frieza. So you hear dun dun as lightning starts surrounding him. He goes Super Saiyan for the first time. And Goku is pissed. Broly, who's pissed like normal, though the colors, the electricity in part of it snapped. It was just gold now. As he walks forward in berserk form. And Goku, his rage overwhelms him. They beat the ever-loving piss out of Frieza. Thing is, Goku's now a Super Saiyan. And they figured out that there was the legendary Super Saiyan and then the Super Saiyan. 2 very different things. But at the same time, Broly's power kept growing. Goku's stayed where it was, but it was higher than ever. Thing is, Goku's rage let his power increase a little bit by little bit. So his power levels seem to be on the same mark. And then in the end, Goku and him do a twin blast. And it blows Frieza apart. But Goku gave him just enough energy not to die. And said, Broly, enough. Let's leave him here. Besides, his entire thing is destroyed. And he's cut in half. Since he did try throwing those things at them, but in this version, Broly just turned around, slapped it away, sending it back into Frieza. Now, Broly says, alright. They both go on one of these pods. But they would have gone both to Yardrat. But, unexpectedly, one of them gets set to go somewhere else. Broly thought they were both going to Earth. Instead, one went to Yardrat. The other went to Earth. Goku was going to just send it where it was going to and figure out how to use it later. Broly, surprisingly enough, roared out with power in him, saying, he's not with me. Goku, where are you? Tears in his eyes, he says, I'll wait for you, brother. Peragus, surprisingly enough, with Raditz, who was there in this fight. They were able to revive the whole group, all that. But in this version, because Raditz became more friendly with them, and him and Broly train a lot. Broly straight up beating the shit out of Raditz a lot. And Vegeta never even had the balls to threaten Broly. By seeing, when he was the one who saw Super Saiyan, he called them, he said at least one of them was the legendary Super Saiyan. Most likely Broly. But when Goku unlocked Super Saiyan, it gave the Prince new hope. It gave him thought that anyone could become a Super Saiyan, but only one could be the legend. So they decided to do it. And they trained, and trained like fucking hell to do it. Vegeta eventually reaching Super Saiyan. But still, not, but he only went on to making Super Saiyan right after Raditz. That's because Raditz saw his brother's strength. Peragus wanted to attempt Super Saiyan, but he couldn't get it. He could never figure it out. He just wasn't good at it. Nappa being on the same part with him and saying, let the next generation have Super Saiyan. Besides, I don't think they use their Azara forms anymore. Yeah, I guess not, Nappa. Now, this is when we get to see that Goku surprisingly came to Earth, right when he did in canon. But in this version, Trunks revealing his own Super Saiyan form doesn't have as much impact. But they're wondering who the fuck the purple-haired Saiyan is. He tells Goku and Broly who the fuck he is. And Piccolo hears it. And they find out that he is the son of Vegeta and Bulma. Now, not a big surprise. Not a big surprise, really. Thing is, when Gohan and the son of Broly both go there, they both go into this fight, they were not expecting what they got. They trained, they did all this just to find out that they're absolutely nothing compared to their fathers. And this rages them a little bit. The anger of Gohan became his ki. It turned him into his own legendary state. He made him a Super Saiyan, but around the same time it wasn't canon, but yeah. So, Broly walks in there with his own son, right after Goku got out. Perfected his own Super Broly transformation, wanting to have control of his legendary form, since he didn't have that in canon. He just goes berserk on people and he lets loose. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to let himself calm down in it. So he tried staying in it 24/7. His son eventually reaching the same form, thinking it was more of their generational thing. Our family, their own family had that form. It was their variation of Super Saiyan. So they wanted to try it. Now, this would lead to an odd event. Anyone can get regular Super Saiyan. Only one group can get the true God, though, and only one can get the legend. Regular Super Saiyan was something even basically any of them thought that was possible, but technically Broly's son, when he got his own Super Saiyan, it wasn't the same. He got the regular form, and he got the second and third variation. Third variation was at least as bulky as Super Broly. It was his regular Broly's bulk, but it was nowhere near as fast. He explained the difference between the two of them. His wasn't just draining all his speed to become more buff. His was putting everything, exhausting throughout everything. It was literally definition of overflowing. Theirs was brutal. Complete brutality. Theirs was just rage. The Broly's were brutal. Now, this is when Goku figured it out. Broly had a different type of form. It was the legend, but his was as much a legend as anything else, since no one had ever unlocked it before. Gears started turning. Goku still had gotten his form thing. When the androids came, they were ready for him a lot more than they were in canon. And because there's now 3 Super Saiyans, I'm going to say Vegeta, Raditz, they're on the same level as Vegeta and Raditz are on the same level. In this version, at least. Now, that would make a slight difference. Now, because Vegeta, Raditz, and yeah, that's about it. Vegeta and Raditz even are about the same strength as Goku. Broly is with them too, remember that. When Goku feels that heart virus thing kicking in, he takes his medicine. He's still laid out for a while. Broly is the one to walk up forward. The prince says, "Broly, let me handle this." And straight up does a whole "can you feel fear?" Yada yada yada. They thought that was no big of a deal. Thing is, Jiro has been prepping to kill Broly and Goku. So these androids are even stronger. Which would lead to an unexpected event. They're popping. Get to see Broly rip these. We get to see the 17, because they all have different commands. Kill Broly and Goku. That's it. Now, they don't really hate Peragus as much, but they still really don't like him. Now, this is what the event would turn into. As we get to see Z Broly pick them up. And he's as strong as he was in the movie. Like, he's that powerful. He's utterly shit-stomping the androids. That's when, surprisingly enough, he stopped. Since he was going for a victory, but he was only strong enough to beat one of them like this. He wasn't quite where he needed to be to take on two of them at once like that. Now, I don't know what version of Gohan it was. I'm pretty sure it was the pre-Time Room version that they had to deal with. At least that's what I'm going with. But if it wasn't, whatever. But because of this, it made it look a little odd. Goku utterly destroys. Goku gets up from this heart virus, finding out about the other androids and all the other stuff. And I was kind of surprised. Now, this made it where there was a slight difference than what happened in canon. Now, like I said, he can only take on two of them in like shit stomping them. One of them was shit stomping. When 16 came up, he was strong enough to catch Broly's punches and look down at Broly like he was a child. They looked eye to eye as if they were the same size, even in berserk form. Broly was fighting him as if they were stalemated, as if they were equals. Broly and 16 fought on a stalemated battle. Thing is, 17 and 18 had to deal with Vegeta and Raditz. Nappa not liking Earth very much and doing something kind of stupid, decided to leave Earth. Peragus was fine staying on Earth, but Nappa actually wound up telling stories of the Saiyans to the next gen, so he decided to stay for a little while. But he did want to go back and look for more Saiyans. But he never got the chance. He just liked Earth too much, and actually went in there to fight too. He didn't have Super Saiyan, but he was damn sure strong enough to keep up. Since he wasn't exactly as powerful as them, but he was pretty cool. He trained with Peragus every day since they were on the same power level. That made it where they seemed terrifying as hell. Now, they didn't have Super Saiyan, but they were damn sure strong enough to keep up with Super Saiyans. And they were mean as them, or even meaner, which allowed them to be pretty damn dangerous. Now, this made it where they could basically shit stomp the entirety of this. Thing is, they did see their entire crew, even Piccolo, got shit stomped. And then Piccolo, whenever he saw that he was the only one there, he got his own thing. He became Super Piccolo, which fused with that other, he fused with Kami, becoming stronger than Broly was in his peak. Enraged. Think even Broly saying, "You're stronger than I could probably be in a long time." Now, this is not making it look easy. He goes to deal with this, he goes to deal with 17 and 18, and thinks he can rock 16 shit too, because they still got shit stomped. Thing is, in this version, when they got shit stomped, they're way different. When they see semi-perfect Cell, after absorbing 17, he was strong enough to eye. He was stronger than them. And this made it where it looked terrifying. Because they weren't as strong as him. Nowhere fucking close. Now, 18 and 16 take off running together. 17 is absorbed, and Imperfect Cell is threatening to blow up everything of those islands. And he does. But in this version, when Super Vegeta comes in, as big and bulky as he wasn't strong enough. But whenever Goku came out, before they went back in, they absorbed all that, but still, Tien got there. And he yelled, King Koho, King Koho, King Koho. And he did this for like 2 minutes straight. And in the end, he's bleeding out of his mouth. He can barely breathe. He hit the ground. But he had one last thing he could do. As we get to see something unexpected. We get to see a surprise drop kick from one of the scariest fucking people. As in, Yamcha actually fucking came to fight. Now, they know that they would have to do this for 24 hours straight. Thing is, Vegeta wasn't yet out, and if they let him become perfect, they're fucked. So, before that happens, Yamcha says, Goku, get out of here. And he does. Goku took them all out of there to get healed and everything. And this is when he said, Tien, when you're done getting healed, I'll need your help again. Alright. They knew Krillin would have to be busy doing all other things to destroy the android. Or at least they thought he might. Now, Yamcha knew he wouldn't last long. But what he did was he powered up. He's ready for this motherfucker. He went all out. And beat the dog shit out of Cell for like 5 minutes straight. Thing is, there's still about 2 minutes before Vegeta would come out. And there's literally an almost dying Yamcha. Yamcha does something unexpected. He used a complete kick right in the groin and got a movement from Cell. Cell said, really? That was supposed to do something to me? When, surprisingly enough, Yamcha headbutts him and yells Wolfang Fist. In the end, being bloodied and beaten too. Coughing out blood, he said, I can do this all day. As he's coughing out blood while in the process. Surprisingly enough, even though he's yelling he could do this all day, he can't even stay on his feet for more than a few seconds. When Vegeta pulls up, he sees something he wasn't expecting. He flies there, and then Vegeta joins him. Then Trunks joins him. Goku and Gohan went in there, perfected Super Saiyan, came out. But while they were in there, they saw Vegeta walk right up to this fight. Vegeta got his shit rocked. Like, Vegeta was beating Cell's ass easily. And then, realizing the downgrade of Super Saiyan 3 is why he didn't use it. Not Super Saiyan 3, but Super Saiyan Grade 3. Now, this made it where he was a lot more surprised. Now, I'll be the one to say it, if no one else will. This was brutal. Like, it was a brutal ass beating. And they actually perfected Super Saiyan when they walked out, but when Vegeta got cocky and let him get perfect, he got his ass kicked. He took a swing and got his ass kicked. Pretty damn easily. Now, this is where we get to see that Cell is only slightly stronger than he was in canon. Because, well, the androids were stronger and made to kill him. And 16 was even stronger, so we have to remember that. Now, they mastered Super Saiyan, and Goku thinks he may be able to push it and find a new form, which may even consider calling it Super Saiyan 2, but he doesn't think he can do it just yet. And he knows Gohan surpassed him, but in those 10 days they have to wait, not only did he absolutely shit stomp this thing, but he did it with ease. And they get to see one more person. They get to see a surprise attack. They get to see Mr. Satan try going up against Cell. Now Broly looks down at him in Berserk form, which he's mastered. And the kids have their form. And Trunks even decided to go back in there and master his Super Saiyan form. And I actually was wondering if he could maybe try seeing that too, but he wasn't certain about it. Now, they would be finishing their training, and they walked out. They're ready to whoop some ass. Now, this made it where they could see an absolute brutal beatdown coming soon. When, after everyone got their shit rocked, Goku was going up against, Goku was going up against Cell. He was winning this. He was losing the fight so far. Cell had just barely a little bit more left in the tank. Goku had nothing left in the tank. Gohan had shitloads. And this is when Goku hit the ground. Surprisingly enough, when Gohan went in there, there was one other thing. This is when he commented, "You may as well send the other kid too, you know that, right?" This is when they saw that he went in there too. And they said 2 kids are going to fight this thing. And this is when they laughed. Broly more than anyone. As he picked up a senzu bean and threw it to Cell, saying, "You'll need it." Because they did have a sparring session between the kids, revealing that they were actually technically stronger than Cell, either of them individually. When Cell ate the senzu, Goku did something dickheadedly and said, "Here, you may need another one." Just to be was kind of cocky on it somehow. Because he's going to fight 2 people stronger than Goku and Broly. That's right, Goku and Broly are not as strong as their sons yet. But this is when their sons reveal something. Because one of them didn't have to worry about letting go. He already had let go most of the way. The other one needed to let go, seeing his friend get injured. They both hit Super Saiyan 2 and walked forward. Got a little bit too cocky, and Gohan messed his arm up. And then Broly's son got his arm messed up too. And you just see fear arise out of Cell when both of them are walking with their arm messed up, doing a twin Kamehameha together. Absolutely decimating Cell. As Cell is turned into literal ashes, they walk out of it, both showing that they were that strong. Thing is, Cell came back. Surprisingly enough, both of them had done that same kick that got 18 out of cannon. And it gets 18 out of cannon, but in this version it sends someone else out too. It also sends out the elusive 17. Because 17 and 18, when he comes back as Perfect Cell, Krillin said, "Kick him in the gut again." Them saying, "Alright," and they start kicking him in the gut. Thing is, he doesn't have any more androids in him. He's just getting kicked repetitively in the gut. And as much pain as it put him in, it didn't kill him or anything. It just pained him more and more every time. Now, that would still allude to them getting their shit rocked when all the Cell Juniors come to jump on them, and one of them can easily destroy them. And this is when Goku and Broly, with a big-ass smile on their faces, see their sons beat the dog shit out of Cell. Looking down at Cell, they all kind of rip him apart, and he gets that same Kamehameha. But not before Goku has to destroy himself doing it. But Broly is the one who said it. "Goku, what if there's more of our old enemies? If they come back to Earth, we can't just let that be our kids' problem, can we?" I'll give you that one. Sure, we can't. Let's go. Because Goku got brought back. But in this version, he didn't need to be brought back. Well, he did, but no one else did. Because right after they revived Goku, he revealed something. When he did, they got sent to King Kai's world. Now, the same wish was used a year later to remove the bombs. And then the last wish was used to revive the entirety of... to revive everyone killed in on King Kai's world. That includes King Kai himself. And it revived Goku. He said, "Don't revive me only." But they did it already, and he couldn't help it. He said, "Fuck." And he tells them what he's going to wish for, and then a year later he wishes for it. And King Kai is back. Literally easy. And he didn't forget this time because Gohan reminded him, hey, the Dragon Balls will work again. Yeah. And in this version, that's right when Goten is born, too. Goten training with his older brother, father, and uncles. That's right, because remember, there's still all the others. Thing is, Goku still trains on King Kai's will more than anything. And in this version, it led to an odd event. Because Broly didn't always train there, but he trained on Earth. Broly showing the Berserk 2, the Super Saiyan, Legendary Super Saiyan 2, which was on par, if not above, Super Saiyan 3, Goku, in canon. And this was not even halfway through the time. Now, everyone had Super Saiyan 2 at this point, though, so yeah, they saw the brutal power of this. And they were all trying to reach a new level, seeing if they could beat Broly. Thing is, Broly was just hard to beat. But they did train and train and train. Now, this would lead to Vegeta and Raditz both unlocking Super Saiyan 3 before they thought anyone else did. They were going to flex this on Goku, but they didn't realize what they found. When Goku came back to Earth before the tournament, he looked down on them, with his power level being above theirs, and his Super Saiyan 3 form matching Broly's Super Saiyan 3 form. But Broly's Super Saiyan 3 form was just more brutal, while theirs were more controlled. So they would rely more on speed, while Broly would rely more on strength. Gohan revealing that he had not stopped training, but he didn't have Super Saiyan 3. Only a very mastered Super Saiyan 2. And even when he met the Kais and all that and got that dance done around him, he got his super version, which was on par with the Super Saiyan 3 of Broly and this version of Goku. It's stronger than canon, though. Like, way stronger. Like, all of theirs make this, like, canon Goku and Gohan look like jokes. Even if they were to get jumped by canon Gohan or Goku, even if both of them came at them at once, one of them in their own form could probably take it easily. Now, thing is, Broly's son is in the same boat. And it was crazy. Because at this point, they get to see Peragus unlock Super Saiyan. Well, it's technically Super Saiyan, like, Wrath more than anything, but it's like, not Super Broly, but it's like a weird version of Super Saiyan. It's not quite right, but it's not quite bad either. Like, it's Super Saiyan, but it's got a weird, like, it's like a blotchy Super Saiyan. It's fucked up, but it's not quite there yet, so it's like more of a training in Super Saiyan, but not quite there. He needs to master it. So does Nappa. And eventually, whenever they saw the Super Saiyan 3 forms, they showed their own super forms. That was perfected Super Saiyan. And they were actually impressed. The old folks finally learned new tricks. Now this is when we get to see that they were way more powerful. And we get to see that, surprisingly enough, the only one who's really that threatening would have to be, well, Broly. When Boo came out, it was a real battle of the villains. Until it was straight up stopped by Goku and Gohan getting there too. Broly would have won the fight if he didn't get hit with absorption. And a super Boo Broly thing, it was called Brolu, walks in and beats the dog piss out of everyone in the room and leaves. Thing is, when Vegito came in, it was a menace. And Ultimate Gohan, same thing. They were literally just throwing this thing around at this point, but Broly's strength made it way more threatening. Now, eventually, even though after being absorbed, it made it an odd event. They would find the ultimate power. Something they didn't even think was possible. And they would even do something they would probably regret normally. Since they all put their power together for one punch. The thing is, they wouldn't, all the Super Saiyan 3s and everything, the Vegeta would still go Majin until he got his ass knocked the fuck out by Goku. And that's why Broly wasn't stopped from going and being absorbed, because Gohan was the only one there to help. We know with his son too, but still. Which actually, his son winds up getting another version. He kind of tries fusing the ultimate, like, he kind of fuses his own training with the ultimate form, which will mean there's another beast in the world. Now, this would lead to an odd event. It would lead to, when Boo is done, everything almost ends up finishing. Because Boo just straight up, boom, knocked out. Clean knockout, too. Now, they still threaten him from the inside to cut out regular Boo, and in this version, they kind of do. And he goes back to Mr. Satan. After a little while, they still make the same wish to, remove people's memories of him. But in this version, after years of training, no one's unlocked anything else. They still only have Super Saiyan 3, but they've trained their base forms to be so threatening that they could probably take on Boo as their base forms. Now, I'll be the one to say it. Even Broly's base form now looks more like his Berserk form than it did in canon. And it was surprisingly jacked. But that's when we get to see something kind of odd. When Goku was still training on King Kai's planet, he fought against Beerus. Now, Beerus was surprised because this took 6 punches. Like, in canon, it only took 3 hits. In this version, it took full-on force punches. And he was a little bit surprised on how much power he had to use for this. And then, surprisingly enough, when he got to Earth, he met 3 people that were obviously already as strong as this. Because, Broly, Vegeta, and Raditz. But then we also see Peragus and Nappa, who both have their own variations of Super Saiyan 3 at this point. Those 4 years were spent mastering their own forms and becoming as strong as possible. Thing is, they stay in the mindset that they are the old Jin. They may not be as strong as the new Jin, but they can damn sure put their hands on them. And don't forget, we still have, the old folks are training with the younger generation. They're training with they train with Raditz. Not Raditz, I mean, they train with Goten, Trunks. They train with them. Now, this would make it where it would look an odd sight, for sure, because when they train, the kids outpower them. But they have Super Saiyan, and Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3, and the kids actually only have going up into Super Saiyan 2. But they're even out in strength, because the adults aren't as strong as them. The older ones, at least. Now, they understand Roshi's thing in old age. And they hang out with him. Surprisingly enough, they all kind of get along, being the oldest ones of their, respective race. Some of the oldest Saiyans left are them. This is when they would keep going, and they met Beerus. And actually, because Peragus knew who Beerus was, and Nappa was the advisor to King Vegeta, the first thing Nappa did whenever he saw Beerus was bow at his feet. And no one's ever seen Nappa do this. He wouldn't even do this for Vegeta himself, or Frieza for that matter. But then Vegeta does the same thing. Peragus being the second one to do it, though. Surprisingly enough, Peragus did tell stories of a man, of a being that could kill Frieza in an instant. A being called the God of Destruction. A rare story that only, the little kids have heard. When they heard this was the God of Destruction, how powerful he was, how he even made Goku look weak, they bowed in fear. Even a little bit of it. Thing is, whenever the fight between Boo and him got real aggressive, they fought. And Broly is the one who actually jumps in that fight. Boom! But in this version, when Bulma gets slapped in the face, you hear, "My Bulma!" And Vegeta looks more like Broly than he ever expected he would, as you hear, "My Bulma!" as he's letting fucking loose. Broly says, "Damn, is that what I look like when I get pissed off?" They said, "Yeah, pretty much." Damn. As they see him tanking punches from Beerus, and Beerus getting his ass kicked, and Broly even went berserk because he saw his son and Gohan went in there to intervene, and they were doing damn good doing it. But his son actually wound up getting with someone, Erasa, who is Vidal's like friend, that girl, and yeah, wound up getting with Erasa, and then they walk out, and surprisingly enough, it's revealed both of the girls are pregnant, and when they hear this, that their children may be killed, you hear, "You bastard!" as they go into their ultimate forms and fly forward. But every hit seems to make more dents. The God of Destruction, realizing these Saiyans, they're powerful. As he let loose his full power, even something he didn't do against God of Destruction Goku, he's literally using more force against them than he was against this version of Goku. Thing is, they all made it there to Earth, and they were not expecting what they got. When Goku showed up and they found out about the Super Saiyan God ritual, they decided to only make Goku a Super Saiyan God, as a god version of Broly would be terrifying, right? And they said, he's getting his ass kicked. And they make a god version of Broly. Thing is, after a little bit, it shows that godly Broly is terrifying. Thing is, they've only been trained to keep their power up. They haven't been trained to get it to new levels. And the ultimate versions are powerful as fuck, I'll admit that. But in the end of this, Beerus still stands victorious, and everyone's laid on the ground. Beerus, seeing Broly being the last one left, actually punching Beerus in the gut. Beerus coughing out a little bit, and then actually kicking Broly straight in his mouth. This being more than enough to see him as a demon move. As right before they were destroyed, they wound up not being killed. Because, Beerus wanted to try the food, and also they were a little bit more respectful than expected. So it seemed pretty useful. Now, this is when the whole events of the, training, in this version, there wasn't just the regular group training. Z was training on the planet with them. Z, Goku, and Raditz was training on that planet. Now, remember, there's also Vegeta there. And every day they run 2v2s. Mainly, the thing is that they actually have a fight occasionally where it's 4v1. All four of the Saiyans versus Whis. Whis pops his neck a little bit and says, "Alright, let's go." And every time they do this fight, it looks more one-sided than it did before. Because Whis lets out a little bit more power every time. He started off only using about 10%. Knowing they were strong enough to keep up with that. So it looked like it was about an even battle. Now at this point he's using 100% of his strength and absolutely destroying them. Thing is, they're durable and they don't run from Beerus. One time Beerus actually got pissed off and went to act like he was going to destroy them because they woke him up. And he walks into Broly's chest. Broly looks down at him in berserk blue. And actually looks at him like he's a child. Beerus realizing who the fuck he'd be up against. And actually said, "Fine, you want to do this? Let's go." Him and Broly get into a fist fight. Surprisingly enough, we get to see that Beerus is the strongest god of destruction. He still has it back in him. We thought he wasn't that strong anymore because, he hadn't done anything but sleep. Surprisingly enough, he was still as strong as he ever was. And he's still the strongest god of destruction. Now, this would lead to an odd event. They're doing their thing of training whenever they do meet. And then they meet someone they weren't expecting to meet. They met Champa, the god of destruction of Universe 6. Broly looks down at him like saying, "Why is he so fat?" Everyone laughing their ass off. Even Vados. Champa saying, "I'll destroy you." As Broly said, "Then do it." Going into his buff form saying, "You sure you can?" As Champa looks up and says, "God damn, you're big." "Yeah." "Are you gonna do it then?" "Probably not." Exactly. Now, Fuck out my face. Okay. Good. Beerus, I'm sorry I had to scare your brother like that, but he shouldn't be threatening me. Oh no, I'm fine with it. Mortals in my universe threatening my brother who's a god is funny. You know, we can threaten you too. Beerus saying, are you sure about that? And going into his Hikaishin form. That being a complete surrounded, as if it was Ultra Ego. With little hints of Ultra Instinct in there too. And this is when you hear laughing from Broly going into his full power form. They look almost even in power. Though it was obvious that Broly was weaker. I mean Z. It's obvious Z was weaker. When we get to see something unexpected, they hear about Frieza came back. Thing is, they get there and they see Frieza's in golden form. And he's getting his ass kicked by Gohan and Broly's son. Goten and Trunks fused, and they are jumping in as well in their own Super Saiyan 3 forms. In their own Super Saiyan 3 form. So they're literally jumping Frieza. Frieza in golden form is beating them, but is actively winning, but he's still getting his ass kicked. Comparative. Now, when they all get there, they look down at him. Now, Frieza's on chest level for Goku, so he's basically at crotch level for Broly. And Raditz is a good bit taller than Goku as well, so he's more along the lines of abs level for Raditz. So, whenever he sees that the only one he's even close to being eye to eye with is Vegeta, he's a little terrified because they're all in their Super Saiyan Blue variations, one of them being more of a orangish hue. Actually, not, it'd still be blue, but still. It has more of a different shade of blue. Now, Vegeta realizes that he found a new form. It's, as they showed, that the only one that has only got regular ass Super Saiyan Blue is, well, Raditz. When they saw the battle, they were going to send in what? They weren't sure who else to send in. Thing is, while Gohan was a scholar, so was Broly's son. Now, they were debating whether he should come in or not, but they decided Piccolo to be a good choice, since Piccolo is on their level. Now, Piccolo straight up walks in the fight, and he's ready for their asses. He straight up says, bring that shit. Surprising everyone when Piccolo walks in the fight, ready to end everyone's whole career. Thing is, he'd be the last one to go, and Monaka, they were already brutal. They could all sense power levels and said, Monaka's weak as fuck. Huh? Really, prove it. This is when they straight up said, Kamehame. Monaka saying, please don't kill me. Good. They realized how weak Monaka really was. Thing is, they weren't sure who to send in first, so they wound up all doing rock, paper, scissors type shit. And you could go in until you got taken out of the fight. Now, in this version, they start off with, Botama and Goku. Goku says, this'll be fun. When Vegeta says, use your head, goddammit, Goku starts doing headbutts. And then Broly yells, use your feet! As Goku starts doing kicks. And he's basically just using a fuck ton of attacks. And pushing him back. It's not even like he's taking damage. He's just off the ground. And he's basically just hovering, taking all these hits. There's so much power that he's lifted off the ground. And because Goku's using everything in him, he then actually pulled back a Kamehameha that yeeted him off the stage and right in the face of Champa. Champa's this close to just going up there himself to kill Goku. But then he realizes something. Next competitor is that, Fire Dude, because they don't want to he didn't think he wanted a metal magma man hitting him in the face with his ass. He straight up was brutal with it, saying, fuck you, bury that shit. When the heat started increasing crazy on Goku, he had trouble breathing. As he starts going down, he yells, Kame, Hame, Ha! And actually, Goku said, now fuck out my face. Pathetic. Even hearing the word pathetic made the Metal Man cry. Really? I could have defeated him by calling him a pussy. At least that's what everyone was thinking. Since everyone's at the event, like this is a big event, and everyone's like, wait, I could just straight up called him a wimp and he wouldn't down. Fine. Next would be on the list, Frost. And Frost was not expecting what he had to fight. Frost walks into Goku, and when Goku feels that prick, he feels like he hit the ground, and he went down brutally. And then same for Piccolo. So it seems like Frost is taking back the fight, until he saw Broly, and he was like, God damn, you're big. Yep. Go into your... So let's see that full power. They revealed that it's actually technically a biological weapon, yada yada yada. Broly said, I don't care. No, don't disqualify him. I want to fight him. Alright. Broly looks eye to eye with this little man, making a basically remake of what happened with canon Goku versus Frieza. And he straight up gets his ass beat. There's never been a beating this brutal for any one of those Frost demons. He's literally just getting stomped out by a giant, stomping him the fuck out and using him as a toy. This is the remake of that battle on New Vegeta. Straight up, it looks like that fight. But it's like the abridged version where he's straight up just laughing his ass off the whole time while doing this. And they're terrified. Frost just gets tossed out, and he actually gets thrown in the face of Champa just because Broly could. As they actually said, Z, calm down. No. As they basically got reinstated. They wanted to get reinstated at least, but actually they did. But they would kind of be the next thing. Broly was brutal in force, but he wasn't fast enough to deal with Hit. Hit was just too goddamn fast. So Broly was straight up taking a punch. Actually, yeah. This is... First it goes Hit, then Kaba. In this version, at least. Now, Hit is straight up getting his ass whooped. Hit is straight up just beating his ass. Every punch Hit throws, lands. Broly ain't landing a single one. Until he reveals his strongest form, which is way more powerful than him, which can go through his time skip. He's just not fast enough to deal with Hit's speed. As eventually Hit would still drop him to the ground, and he was knocked out. The Goliath had been slain. Or at least they thought he was. Thing is, next would have to deal with Vegeta. And Vegeta showed his royal blue. And they thought it was pretty cool until it got kind of bodied. It was faster, just not fast enough. Barely, though. Then, there we go. We got back to the original group. Well, kind of. Wait a second there. Oh yeah, now we have Raditz. And Raditz is the only one without any bullshit extra version of blue. So he's just using blue, and he's doing damn good against Hit. But then Hit actively, barely, by a hair, beat him. And he straight up said, God damn it, these guys are strong. Then Goku revealing he has to go back in now. He said, oh, Hit. Hit saying, son of a bitch. Wait, yeah. Hit saying, son of a bitch. The fuck are you made of? You crazy sons of bitches. Goku revealing his Kaioken, which barely loses to Hit because Goku, was surprisingly hit with a, weird move, which was basically getting tripped up for a second. And this basically makes Goku turn and wound up falling for a second. And he barely lands outside the ring by basically floating outside. But they agreed that wasn't allowed, so yeah. Now, the last fight. Piccolo versus Hit. Them showing respect to each other. Hit stating who he is. He's the Saiyan that is comparable. Hit revealing that he's the strongest in Universe 6. Piccolo revealing he's the strongest non-Saiyan in Universe 7. Considering he may even be the strongest being in Universe 7, even among the Saiyans. Thing is, as he revealed his strength and speed, he was a little bit more balanced. Though, Piccolo at some points didn't know what to do in fights, but he did use his stretching arms and his weird attacks that were different. That which gave him the ability to win. Even at one point, Hit snapped the arm of Piccolo, breaking it clean through, and he couldn't fucking deal with it. Piccolo said, "Oh, I see you broke my arm. You see, normally, that would be an issue." Until Piccolo just straight chops it off, takes it and throws it offside, throws it at him. He's like, "What the fuck? The fuck did I just get an arm thrown at me? Wait, what?" As boom, a punch sends Hit back up by an inch. As Hit barely loses this, Beerus still got the wish. As Piccolo reveals that he's back in, he's ready to fight. He'd barely won, but he still won. Because they called bullshit out on this, even though, the events... Oh, shit. I forgot to include somebody. Yeah, in this version, because, he actually decided... Because Piccolo is a great teacher, he would still teach... I'm not sure if I include this or not, but, yeah, there was that fight with, that one kid. Who, I'm not sure to go... Actually, I think, yeah. I think he would kind of be the one to take him... Piccolo would kind of teach him as if he was Gohan or something like that, and it would work. He would unlock Super Saiyan, Piccolo told him to go even farther. He unlocked Super Saiyan 2, told him to go even farther, barely unlocking Super Saiyan 3 in their, 2-hour-long fight. And in the end, yeah, sending him out the ring. He said, even with Super Saiyan 3, I wasn't strong enough. Well, now you're closer to Hit's strength. Fair point. Now, then we go to the Tournament of Power. Alright, now we get into the Tournament of Power. And we get to see that Broly is part of the group. So, there's only allowed 10 competitors. And obviously, we've got the Saiyans, which would be including Gohan and Broly's son. I'm going to say they weren't sure who else to go in, who else should be the ones to go in. This was a group, a full-on group. There was 6 Saiyans. Then they weren't sure who to get next, so they decided to bring Piccolo. That's 7. They only need 3 more people. They weren't sure who to grab. There was Tien, there was Tien they could have grabbed, there was Roshi, there was, the older Saiyans. They could have grabbed so many. Who would they grab? They could grab different beings or something. What did they choose? They decided on Earth to have a small tournament to who would win. And eventually they did. And you want to know who won? Eventually it was Roshi. And surprisingly enough, the last 2 are Saiyans. They're the elusive group, though. They're the seniors, basically. They're the old people. They weren't sure, if they pushed the old people or the young ones. So they would have a sparring match. Who would win? Thing is, they weren't certain. Who should they send in? Children or grown or elderly? And at this point, they're white facial hair and they're seeming to weaken in strength. They don't want to go back in. So they were deciding, should they send in kids? I mean, these are the strongest warriors. So they would actually decide, Roshi, he was old, but he could keep fighting. So they decided to send in 3 old folks. And they do. Thing is, they decide to keep the elderly together. But Roshi goes buff to show he's not the weak, frail old man that people think he is. He's the buffest of the older ones, and he's way stronger than the rest. And even though they're in Super Saiyan 3 forms, seeing this crazy power, the ultimate forms, the Super Saiyan 3 forms, the blue forms, and Berserk forms. But this version, we see Goku going against Kale. Thing is, as strong as they all are, Raditz could easily stomp them out. Gohan could stomp them out. Hell, I wouldn't even be surprised if everyone could stomp them out. But this version, they get to see that when they brought Kefla out, it didn't change much. And they utterly get shit stomped. But they actually are still trained by Goku in their fight. Broly, the big boy of the team, wasn't fighting anyone. He was looking down at people, waiting for them to swing at him. And want to know who actually swung at him? He saw Kale. Dragging Goku around the way he could do whenever he was mad. He went berserk and into his own variation of berserk form, not even going into anything but his own Super Saiyan form, and matching Kale's strength. Then he brought it up to his own Super Saiyan 2 variation, and even 3, then showing his own God form, and then blue. As he looked down at her, as if she was a child up against a deity. She realized what she was fighting. This was beyond her power. It was like her times 100. She couldn't even hope to touch him, much less beat him. But Broly had her training in her form. She unlocked her mastery form over it, which Broly kind of refused to use. And then she would unlock her other version of Master, her, Super Saiyan 2 variation of Berserk. And a Super Saiyan 3 variation while training. Kale and Caulifla would still fuse, but in this version, Goku actually had an idea. Having him and Goku go back into base, they wound up doing their fusion dance instead of Patara. To flex that they could. More of a flex than anything. It would have worked, but they decided not to. Well, actually, it was early in the tournament when this would happen, so they do. And in the end, once they unfuse, they go back into Goku becomes himself again. But when they unfused, the power that made even Jiren shit himself was gone. But Vegeta, this was Goalie, or Broku? I'm going with Broku. Broku walked out. Now, when Broku beat everyone like they were jokes, it was crazy. And they even eventually saw that Broku was the last standing in the power-wise. Now, in this version, it took Jiren, it took Dispo, and it took Topo all together. But in this version, they were all countered. Dispo would basically wouldn't have to fight Frieza. He would have to fight Broly. And even though he's quick, Broly's been working on his speed to deal with people like Hit. Now, in this version, there was 3 different changes. Because Hit hadn't gone against Jiren yet, so Hit was basically waiting. And in the end, Broly goes out of the ring to protect Goku, slinging him back in, as he basically tackled 2 people out. Vegeta gets thrown out by Jiren, and in the end it's Goku, Hit, and Jiren standing at top of the tournament, on the tournament roster. Now, in the end, they do wind up seeing that Broly is against an Ultra Instinct Goku that straight up one-shots him around. Now, Hit using his own called Time God form, which is basically using every bit of his time ability, and it allows him to basically move faster than time itself. Made 0 fucking sense. He was outclassing them in every fucking way. In speed, at least. Jiren was the physically strongest, Goku was the most agile, and Hit was the fastest. They went blow for blow for blow, every fucking hit. Until Goku did something unexpected. He piled something on top of Ultra Instinct. A Kaioken times 10, which was damn near killing him in the process. This gave him the ability to send Hit flying out of the ring, and use a Kamehameha to the gut of Jiren. Jiren falling out his swell. Jiren saying, "Good, match as he hit the ground, as he would wind up falling out and landing on top of his universe. Goku would actually say, revive all the universes destroyed in the tournament. As he would fall out himself. And Jiren would see the kindness and power of Goku. With a smile on his face, he said, good job. You earned it. Then, seeing that there was a new competitor kind of moment, they realized how powerful they each could be if they fully wanted to. They absolutely dog-walked this like it was a joke. Then Z is training with Raditz, Goku, and Vegeta on Earth for a little sparring match. And then they understand the Dragon Balls got stolen. They make it to the Arctic where they were. And they find out the truth. But how did Frieza come back in this version? That was the wish. You see, in this version they had planned to do this for a while. And they brought back Lord Frieza with the first wish. But they were going to do the second wish until they were stopped in their tracks. When, surprisingly enough, they were sent flying. Now, this would make it an odd event. Since even though they just got sent flying, it was as if nothing had happened. Now, even though they just revived, Frieza and everything, but they did know something odd. The last wish was odd. It straight up said, my last wish is that you will come back, you will be usable in soon as possible. And he said, I will be usable again, usually in 1 year. Because of your last wish, I'll be usable again in, say, 2 days. As he vanished and all scattered. They gathered them again, realizing that Frieza was back. Thing is, he wasn't quite ready for them. But Frieza, over the next few days, was training. And Bulma gathered the Dragon Balls again, surprised they only took 2 days this time, saying it must be one of their wishes. Right before she was going to summon the dragon, she was stopped when they went missing again. But the two lowest power leveled fighters, though, they go to where the Dragon Balls are again, because in this version they barely missed them, but this time they're now missing them. But this time there is an odd moment. They see a guy who looks nothing like Broly, but they do see a guy who looks a lot like Peragus. Well, I mean like Peru. Peragus is his name, and Broly is the name of this new guy. Or Super, if you want to call him that. Now, Super looks eye to eye with the group, and he's training against them. He's fighting against them by the words of his father. But Z Broly didn't want to get shown up by any other one, and even in his Akati form, he wasn't doing jack shit. And surprisingly enough, it took him going into his true Super Saiyan form to be able to do anything. They actually called it True Super Saiyan. So there was a legendary, plain, and true, I guess? What the fuck? Legendary, plain, and true. Okay, whatever. They would use this for the final moment. Now, in this version, when Goku was about to fuse, they saw Goku fusing with Vegeta, and actually used this time to fuse themselves. That would be Raditz and Broly. So it was Broditz? Browitz. I'm going with Browitz. Fuck it. Browitz does pretty damn good. And they basically are two-time beating his ass. This basically making it where he's getting his shit rocked. Until he's no longer getting his shit rocked and he's actually beating the shit out of them. At least he would have been if he didn't get, which he gets absolutely shit rocked. And then with a twin, you know, Kamehameha type thing, with all the blasts going together, it would send it flying. But it would go off into space. And Broly was still sent back, and Chilai ran. Goku would still teleport over there and say, "Hey, buddy." Broly shitting himself terrified and actually said, "What, do you want to beat him again?" By Chilai. And Goku said, "No." Name, Broly. Alright, Broly. Well, you ever want to train with us? Z would be happy to spar against you. Z, who's that? Remember the big guy who was your size and some? Yes. That's Z. Fuck. Yes, he's the strongest of us. Though not the fastest. The most even would be my brother Raditz, but Vegeta's the, I'd say, fastest of us. I'm the most martial arts powered. So, who's the best? That's still undecided. We always wind up having it into a draw, so we always give up in the end. I would like to join. Good. Now, just call me when y'all want to. Here, I'll give you this. What is it? It's a basically communicator. Oh, and this, as they gave him a spaceship that basically has the coordinates to Earth. It's set to go to Earth, if y'all ever want to. It's pretty fun. And who knows, maybe we could eat. Besides, here's some actual food, Broly-sized food, everything. Here, if y'all want to train, come on. Oh, and you too. Chilai, I think is what you called, right? Yes. Well, if you want to get, you know, more protected, you know, I do know a few people from the patrol. Is that a threat to get me arrested? No. They're scared of me. Oh. What does that mean? Well, if you want, we can just walk in their face and say, "Hey, she's no longer under anything," right? And it'll work. You can do that? Of course I can. Hell, I'm pretty sure Broly could do it. So, we're just too strong for them to stop. Oh. Alright. Well, and we end this off whenever, like, Frieza went into his black form, Gohan appears. Everyone appears to swing at him, and they do. There's a Beast Mode Gohan, Beast Mode Broly's son, Beast Mode Crazy, and there's the elusive Piccolo. And then there's all these versions of Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, weird Berserkian versions, and surprisingly enough, they just all jump Frieza and win. And that's the end of What If Peragus and Broly went to Earth with Goku.